My name is Mikkel Reisbøl. I'm your host at this session where we'll go through the purchase order and prepayment handling in Domain Capture. Back to today's session. It's about Domain Capture 2023 Release 1. And just to let you know, we have released this version with a huge bunch of new features. And here is a long list of all the features, or let's say the majority of the features we have added to the solution. It's so much that I can't today, unfortunately, spend time on mentioning or demonstrating them, but just browsing through the long list gives you an impression that the latest release is even more full than the previous one. If you want to get a full look at the list, please go to the roadmap, to the new and planned site in docs.continue.com, and take a look at the detailed changelog for the latest release or previous releases. Thank you for that. And let's head back to today's agenda. We have a lot of things we need to go through. It didn't sound like much purchase orders and prepayment, but we do have some tasks that link into this process of creating and updating purchase orders. We also need to look at the approval of purchase orders and also how to register those prepayments, and later at the end, how to match an invoice and pay the invoices using a payment solution from Continue. All of this is what you're going to enjoy today. And if you have any questions during the session, as my colleague Kim mentioned, please type them in the chat section, and we will go through as many as we can after the show. So let's get rolling. It's time to look at the create and update purchase order. And let's start with a single slide explaining what this is. In Domain Capture, we have added a new category called purchase order, and it looks a bit familiar if you know the purchase category for handling invoices and credit memos. So this is a similar page, but instead of doing invoices, credit memos, we can now create purchase orders and also update purchase orders. It all depends on the settings that you have in your template, whether you want to create orders. You see here in order registration step 1, an example of this template is configured to only create orders, but we can configure to different values. And updating purchase orders is available for a selected number of fields: vendor order number, vendor shipment number, the quantity and unit cost, and expected delivery date in the line section is available here. So let's try to take a look at how this actually works. Switch over to my environment. If I can find the right browser, there we are, and go to full screen. So here we are. This is my Domain Capture installation. I have some documents already pending my attention. So let's take a look at those 2 documents. Wait a second, Mikkel. I need to introduce you to the category itself. So let's take a look at the category card up here. We have a new category, purchase order. Let me highlight the line and click on edit so we can view the setup page. It looks much like you could say any other category card that we have: master template, an ID template, some OCR processing settings, and also some specific code units for, like reopening the documents. All this is familiar areas for those of you that already know Domain Capture. So this is a standard category card with a, let me click on the right field here and choose the edit action here so we can see the master template with a number of settings in the general section. In the purchase order, we have some options here to either create, update, or let Domain Capture decide whether to create or update the incoming document. Also, options to handle the way that Domain Capture should figure out which order to update. Should we use the vendor order number or the vendor shipment number? We have a couple of options here. And of course, the code unit section and the fields right above, so we can see we have vendor shipment, vendor order number, our order number. Very interesting fields when it comes to order handling. Let's jump back out to the role center and get started looking at some documents. Those two down here were the ones I was so eager to look at. Well, let's do that. Here we are, our nice little document journal. I have 2 documents already received. The vendor is recognized, and the first one from Wildwood Importers is an order confirmation. So why don't we just get started and recognize some fields? There we are, template is applied. The fields are recognized. We see a lot of nice values pop up here in the document header section. And to the right, we have highlighted blue and orange colors, the captions and values. And by clicking around, you can see where in the document those values were identified. Everything looks quite nice. An order has been created. It says here, or we see that it's an order type. And well, let's take a brief look at the template. What does it say in here? It says that I would like to create an order every time. Why don't we just collapse all these sections? Let's focus on this part. So let's create an order. Yeah, this is what is going on every time that I get a document in. I will then create an order based on the information, including the lines recognized. So let's take a look at this place. Just like when opening from any other line recognition, the recognized, identified numbers, descriptions are translated into well-known items or other account types. Everything looks just fine, and we can move on and register the document. So let's do that. And here we have one purchase order created, number 106009, with my 5 lines, quantity, prices, and we see a promised receipt date. It was identified in the document. If you look a bit here to the right, if you zoom in, we can see it much better. We had a delivery date recognized, and it's also filled in here because it was filled in as a header value. Everything is cool with me. We have a good set of data, so I'm happy. One also happy purchase order has been created. And later on in the process, you might receive an update from your vendor, a price change or a new delivery date or something like that. And I have one document ready here to simulate that part. Let's take a look at this. This is a new document with a tiny note here at the bottom saying that please note delivery dates and prices may have changed. So why don't we recognize this one, this little beauty, and see what goes on. Wow, there we have it. New delivery date's been recognized. You can see that the original one was 31st of January, and now it's changed for 5th lines to the 7th of February and 20th of January. So there's a bit of change here. Also, the prices have changed a bit. I can see that from remembering what was on the old one, we had a higher price for the last one, and also for the top one, a slight pricing increase. What we also have here is our order number is now present. Our vendor now supplies us with that information in the document. So why don't we go in and recognize this as well? So this is the normal way to recognize. Highlight a caption, click on the value, and then we have a nice information. But wait a second. This is a change to an existing order, and the comment here down below says that the order already exists, so a new one will be created. I don't like that. I don't want to create a new one every time. I want to update an existing one. The prices change, new delivery dates. Might be due to my template settings are not correct. I've marked here that every time that I get a document in, I want to create a new order. I don't want that. I want to not every time update, but perhaps in this case, for this template, sometimes I want to create, sometimes update. It depends on whether the order exists or not. So let's change the setting to this one, and also say do focus on the vendor order number, because I know they always write this value in the document, and therefore I can rely on figuring out where to update the data by using this value. And if I go back and let's do a recognize fields, you see that the message disappears. There's no warning, there's no error, everything is great. Document Capture knows what to do, and either I will create a new one or I will update an existing one, depending on whether the data exists or not. So in this case, everything is cool, and I can move on with the registration. And when I now view my purchase order, you'll see that the delivery date for the lines have been updated. Some of them have 31st, some have other. Also see that the total amount has changed a bit, subtotal 2710, whereas the original amount being imported was 2650. So we have some diverting values. Originally, the order had one totaling, and now it has been changed a bit. If you look at the document viewer to the right, you will see that we have an original document. We also have the second or further documents available if you have more updates, and I can look at those individual PDFs. Let's give it a bit more space and see the changing values in here. All that I need is at hand. I have all the information for submitting this document for approval, which is the next step. Approving purchase orders in Document Capture is made available here in the latest release, version 2023, release 1, and we have added a number of approval workflows for advanced approval, forced approval, and also standard approval for both purchase orders and purchase return orders. Besides the workflows for approving, you can also approve the documents through the Continue Web Approval portal. There you can view the original PDF, you can edit the lines, and all the other actions you know from the purchase invoice. So let's jump over and try that. First of all, let me go back to my starting page. I need to go in and activate the approval workflows, and this is easily done through the Document Capture setup. In here, choose the approval setup, open purchase approval, and select which workflows you want to activate. Let's take the order approval perhaps, and the return order. That's it. So simple and so easy. Jumping into the list of purchase orders, I should be able to find my latest created order, the one from Wildwood Importers that we just updated, created and updated to be precise. And let's see if the server would like to open it. There we are. Great. And what else is there to do than send an approval request? Wow, I got a message here telling me that something is wrong with the amounts. This is one of the validations, the checks that we can activate or deactivate in Document Capture. In this case, I've activated it because I want to notify the users in case the subtotal calculated and the amounts being recognized do they correspond? Are they close enough to be identical? It should be at least. And in this case, the pop-up message appears due to the second update of the purchase order. So do you still want to send this for approval? Yes, sure I want. This is a nice information to get when we run this process. And the second message here, an approval request has been sent, is so great. It's time to log in as the approver. Let's see if I can find the shortcut for that one up here. Yeah, I have a shortcut to my web approval portal. Well, I will log in as Robin Bettencourt, viewing this purchase order. And this is a familiar interface, the web approval portal. In the list of my open approvals, I will see my orders, my invoices, and so on, and simply select the line to open the page. In here, we have the lines available. We have the document in the right-hand section of the page, and also other attachments that I can view if I would like to view the original one or the previous one. I have all the attachments available here. You can also add further attachments by dragging them in or browse through the paperclip up here. The use of actions at the top, approve, reject, forward, put on hold, or use template is available just like you know from the purchase invoice approval part. Robin here, he's satisfied with the purchase order. The order is perfect, he says. So he's happy with that and has, out of courtesy, typed in a comment so that everybody knows that the order looks good, and he's ready to approve the document. There we are. Let's close down the page and return to the document, and we will see that the purchase order, when looking in, has been released. Why don't we look at the page? Yeah, what the heck? That is, the order is perfect, it says here, and Robin did the job. It's time to look at the prepayments. Register on prepayments in Document Capture is just as easy as registering an invoice or a purchase order. Document Capture will identify and create the prepayment, more or less automatically. The invoice is identified as a prepayment whenever we find words for missing prepayment. That could be like prepayment or advance payment, or just like we identify the invoices, credit memos, we do that in a document type field at the bottom part of the document header section. The prepayment is then linked to an identified purchase order, or you can select the purchase order manually if you want to. And by using the built-in functionality in Business Central, a prepayment invoice is created, and through that link to the purchase order, and everything runs smoothly. Let's try it out. I have a document awaiting my import for a prepayment. This prepayment invoice, this is one I want to import. So let's try to just take one document at a time. So here we are, one invoice from Wildwood Importers. This is the prepayment invoice. I can see that from the text stated up here, and also that they mention an order number, the order number 106009. We have some text here saying prepayment percentage, already prepaid 0. So they want 813 upfront before they can deliver the goods. All of this has been recognized by Document Capture. And as you can see it down here in the comment section, let's add a bit more space for that comment, that no prepayments have been processed previously. So therefore, we will increase the percentage to 30, equal to 813 currency units. The order number is recognized. The document is identified as a prepayment. You can see that down here at the bottom. Everything is good to go. So why don't we just register the document? This will create a purchase invoice, which is a link to the purchase order. And we can see here, this is a prepayment. It selects the prepayment account automatically from our general ledger setup. And that's it. That's how you do it. Let's take a look at the purchase order. So in here in the purchase order, we have registered prepayment invoice. Let's take a look at that. It's available up here in the order menu under prepayment invoices. And there's one invoice, 813, needs to be paid, and the full amount is still remaining. Please note that we have access to the PDF file, where we can open it and view the document if we want to. There we are. I'll close this one just to make the screen a bit more nice. Yep. And if I go back to my order, you'll see that the lines have been updated with the prepayment percentage and also the amounts that we expect to pay and to be deducted later when we want to settle our invoice, the final invoice for our items. So this was one prepayment invoice. But what happens if I add a second one to the order? Let's try that. I have a second one here up the sleeve. So prepayment number 2. Import that one and do the recognition. It does that automatically, of course. So there we are. One prepayment invoice, once again identified. We see the P is fill in the field, and all the values are recognized. If some of the values don't recognize straight away, you can of course go in and adjust that part. Please note at the bottom we have a comment saying that prepayment was already completed. 813 currency units, 30%. And if you post this invoice, we will increase the prepayment percentage to 50, which is exactly what they have stated here in the document, that we need to pay further 542 in total of 1355. So everything is great. It's all validated and checked. So let's register the document and take a look at what goes on the purchase order. And a few steps back into the purchase order. Look at the card once more. And we have here up at the top, purchase order prepayment invoices. You will see that we now have 2 lines, 813 from just before, and the 542, the second one, the invoice 108210 that was created. And we also have a remaining amount that not been paid yet, so we need to pay that in a minute, I guess. Looking at the lines, you see that the prepayment percentage has been increased, as well as the amounts have also been updated on every individual line. It's time to complete the cycle, match the invoice, pay the invoices, pay the prepayment invoice, and later on we're going to also pay for the cost invoice when we receive that. So I'll do the last step here where we go through the generating of a payment suggestion, matching a purchase invoice to the order, and settle the rest amount for this invoice. So let's take a look at that. In order to pay those invoices, you probably know you have to open a payment journal, and you can do that by using any of the continuous payment solutions like Payment Management or OP Plus or here in this case, you can just open the payment journal, but no matter what, you'll still have access to the documents related to this payment that I'm going to complete now. So let's take a look at how to prepare a payment suggestion. I need to fill in the right data, of course, and I have some vendor number here that I filled in, so this should work straight away. I have 2 prepayment coming up here. Payment for invoice 1087, 1098, and as you can see, when I select the line, the document is available out here straight away in my payment journal. And yeah, let's just open that. Oh, click on this one, it's more easier. Come, show me, Mikkel. The prepayment invoice is available, just like we saw before from the prepayment invoice. I get it here in my payment journal as well. So what do I need to do? I guess I need to fill in the highlighted field. So let's choose, let's pay through the bank method here. Great stuff. And yeah, that's it. Post it. So we are posting these payments. Yes, sure, I like to do that. And the lines were posted. Nothing special here. It's more or less everyday business for users in Business Central. And if you go back to the purchase order and take a look at this one, you'll see that the purchase order has been updated a bit. Let's take a look at the order lines up here. The prepayment invoices, you see that those 2 are now settled. The remaining amount is 0. So everything is cool and clear. No need to pay anything here anymore. And if you look at the lines, no changes been made here. They are still looking good. Nothing here to worry about. It's the prepayment invoices that were updated. And let's take a look at the last step, which is to match this purchase order with a purchase invoice and complete the cycle. Let's see how that goes down. I just imported a purchase invoice, which is going to be matched. It says here, yeah, fully matched with purchase order 106009. The full amount has been matched. We could take a look at the match page if you want that. Nice shortcut to do that, Control M, and then I get to see that these lines are matched against the total amount of the invoice, the full amount that we have here. So everything's great, and I can actually go straight to registration. One thing I want to show you is, before I register the document, that on my template card here, I have configured that this document is to be auto-matched. That's why this process was completed just by importing the document. And also, I want to submit this for approval, and if possible, auto-approve it if it matches the purchase order. If it doesn't match the purchase order, then fall back on the submit for approval. So we have like a two-step action here. Do this if possible, otherwise submit it for approval and have some purchaser look at the document. But I expect this one to be auto-approved as it matches perfectly with my purchase order, and the purchase order was pre-approved. So no need to look at the invoice once again, just register this little bandit and move on. So let's see. The purchase invoice is created and it has the date released. Great, it was automatically approved due to the invoice and the order. They match perfectly. So what else can I do here? Yeah, let's post the invoice, complete the process, of course, and view the posted invoice. There we are. Well, wow, a new line popped up here, the general ledger account 5105. That's my prepayment account. So I actually get this prepayment amount that was prepaid, deducted from the purchase order, is included in my order match and taken into account when I post invoice, meaning that I only have to pay 1,897 and not the full amount, 3,252, says down here in the bottom right corner. Let me zoom in a bit, you see that better now. So the prepayment is taken into account, and the remaining sum is what I have to pay. Yep. And if I go to my purchase order, I guess I also have some updated values here. Let's see. Yeah, over here to the right in my order lines, you'll see that the prepayment amount that was to be deducted is now deducted from the invoice. So we have a nice connection here. Everything is handheld by the system. It's fully self-guiding. No need to think about anything. Except one thing I need to do, final stuff, is to pay the invoice. You know how that works. Suggest a window payment, and we have one invoice to be paid, and the remaining amount, 1,897, is what I have to do. So what else can I say than just post and be happy? Yes, that's it. I've completed the process. Everything is running smoothly, and I don't have to type much anymore. So with Document Capture 2023 Release 1, processing the purchase orders and prepayments is a simple task. You can create and update purchase orders directly. You can approve purchase orders either in Business Central or the web approval portal. Even editing the lines is also possible. Prepayments can be registered directly to the order, and when we match the purchase invoice, everything is added up, meaning that the prepayment and the paying of the purchase invoices is a smooth process. Thank you for letting me in and watching this demonstration. If you have any questions, it's time to send them in. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikkel. I want to have you taking a small breath, only very shortly, because it seems like there has been a lot of eagerness to ask you some very clever questions. So I guess you need to go through the chat section. And while you're doing that, I want to go shortly through how all these new exciting features are priced within our license programs. And I just want to share my screen again. First of all, as you might know, we have two pricing programs, license programs with different pricing, divided in on-premises and on cloud, where you access our solution through Microsoft App Source, if you are a Business Central Cloud user. For on-premises, it's for both features. Both features are available in the what we call the base license, the general license, except for the purchase order approval. If you want to use the web approval for that, you must remember that the web approval portal requires an additional license. And I'm sure if you're an end customer, your partner will provide you with that one. Or otherwise, partners, you can go to your partner account manager, or you can always find our prices on our websites. For Business Central Cloud and customers accessing our solutions through Microsoft App Source, the general features for both purchase order handling and prepayment is through the extra feature module called Advanced Capture on Document Capture. And if you want to approve the purchase order, then you must also choose the document approval feature module. And I guess that was quite it for my part. I think that should be very clear that there is no new additional prices. It is all the features are added to our existing licensing. So with that cleared out, I want to hand the word and maybe also the screen back to you, Mikkel.
Sure. Let me share my screen. I have tried to look through some of the questions that have been submitted, and it's quite a lot. So I don't know where to start and where to end, but actually the first question being asked was, can I check prices in Business Central against the received document upon creating a purchase order? And yes, you can. Let's take a look at the document categories. And we're going to take a look at first the purchase category to show that in here we have on the master template, if we go to this one, where is it? Purchase here, this one, and say edit, I have an option saying check item prices. This is only available if I activate my line recognition, of course. So when I recognize lines, I can check the item prices. This is for my purchase category. So if I go a step back and take a look at my purchase order category and view the master template, you'll see that we have the same option available. So I can still check the item prices if I want to, or I can just create the lines straight away. Another question was more in regards to the process, like when would you use document capture for creating purchase orders? Wouldn't you do those in the Business Central application already? Well, yes, many customers, many of our users do have the option or the process of creating the purchase orders directly. Yeah, but we have a significant part of the customers using document capture that have another procurement system that generates some information which is pushed out to the vendor, to the supplier, and then they reply with a order confirmation that they want to enter into document capture into Business Central. Could also be that you order your goods through emails or phone calls, and instead of typing those in manually in your Business Central, you could wait for the supplier to supply you with a confirmation, saving you a lot of typing, and you will have the data directly available without any mistakes. There's also a question about what will happen if we try to update a released order or where we have some receipt actions. Yeah, well, if I go into a purchase order and want to update this one, standard BC Central functionality applies. If I want to add something, I definitely need to reopen the document. So the same applies here for the document capture updating of purchase orders. We need to reopen the document in case it is already in another state that logs for those editing actions, like pending approval will not allow you to go directly in and update the order. So there's a blockade there. We are though working on some shortcuts to do that. Instead of you manually have to go in and update or reopen it, we will in near future add options allowing you to automatically update orders, even though they are in a state that you would normally not expect them to be updated. But it's all configurable and secure through that. We have another question about also the where was it? Yeah, like seeing what was changed in the order when we did some updates to the order. Now this is a wrong order I'm looking at. Let me go back to this one. So what did we change? To be honest, we cannot see it here in the lines, as BC Central have no history on these lines, except you could activate your changelog and do some digging through that. However, you can look into the list of documents and see what was the original document and what is changed here. Quite easy for me when I only have 5 lines, but if you have like 200 lines in order, it's more complicated. A way to handle that would be through the, where do we have that here? I guess it's over in the order, and it's here, the archive versions, where you can archive a snapshot of what the lines and the header values look like. Currently, we don't have that in our process, but we will add that to the registration update process. Whenever we do an update of the purchase order, we will archive a snapshot of the document, and through that we can do some logging, you could say, or list of changes. So currently, the way to look at it is to figure it out, is to focus on the original one and compare that to the current lines we have. Please note this as the first version of the purchase order creation update process functionality, and with every hotfix, every service pack it's called, with every release we come out with, you will see new features and increased enhancements, speeds and performance, everything. So thank you for all the input. It's quite nice to get those intelligent questions here. It's very positive for me to get this feedback. Kim, I didn't get to look at more questions down the list. There's so many. I don't know where to start, but those were the 4 ones I managed to read through and find the answer to.
I guess we can also say that we will answer the rest directly. So
that would be a nice possibility, I guess. Then we could write some clear explanations, and perhaps even I don't know if you can submit them here in the chat so everybody can get an update.
Yes, good idea. Will you end it up, Mikkel?
Yeah. Thanks a lot for joining us today. It was a pleasure, and thanks for the many questions. We will naturally follow up on those. And please remember to sign up for the webinar tomorrow, where my colleague Lotte is showing the exciting purchase contract module for the expense management solution. Thanks a lot and have a great day.
Bye-bye.